guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. Here on a Taco Tuesday, where not even a vicious paper cut is going to keep me from running a great show today. This was not only a paper cut, this was a cardboard cut. Reach into a cardboard box, sharp edge, king, blood everywhere, and I'm still here because I'm a trooper. Ashley, who's joining me?
Also here, host of Collider's Heroes, Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on? I'm not reaching any boxes. I'm not touching any. Hey, bop, 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 bop. How's it going?
Also here, host of Jedi Council, Kristian Harloff.
I have to tell you that you handled it like a pro, because I would assume
handled it
like a listen. I would assume that he'd be like screaming and yelling.
What are you talking about? He was sucking on his finger the whole time before the show.
That's the drama. That's the drama that comes afterwards. Like, but he is just like, paper cut. And I closed the door and he started crying, but still.
I walked it off because I'm a man.
Yes.
Or some semblance of that. Okay, today we have a huge show, and we're kicking it off with some awesome news about Suicide Squad. Now, you guys know that on Collider.com yesterday, a whole bunch of stories came out from our set visit, or at least I say our set visit. The Collider.com folks got to go to the set of Suicide Squad and get a whole load of information, so we try to compress it as much as we can. For all of the scoops, go to Collider.com at any time. Ashley, what are we talking about today?
Yesterday, Collider's own Adam Chitwood released an extensive report from the set of Suicide Squad, detailing a ton of new information about what we can expect from the David Ayer directed movie. The biggest news out of the visit had to do with the appearance of Ben Affleck's Batman in the movie. In the interview, Ayer summed it up, explaining that Suicide Squad is something like a Batman movie from the villain's point of view. All the Batman movies have been from Batman's point of view. He's the good guy, he's the hero of his own movie in all the movies we've seen. If you look at what Bruce Wayne has done in creating the Batman persona, his idea was to terrorize criminals. It's sort of psychological warfare against criminals. This wraith that comes in the night and attacks and pulls criminals from society. For the first time, we're seeing Batman from the point of view of the criminals, and he's freaking scary. In regards to the plot of the movie, Ayer explained that the film isn't entirely linear and involves the use of many flashbacks, with the present day scenes beginning at Belle Reve Prison. As for how the Joker was added to the movie, Ayer explained he really wanted to include the Joker in the movie, who in this version is holed up in an old Arkham asylum where Harley Quinn is also being housed. The full Suicide Squad report can be found on Collider.com. Mark, what are your thoughts on the set visit for Suicide Squad?
Well, it's obviously cool that Joker and Harley Quinn are going to be in Arkham Asylum locked up together or near each other, presumably, but I'm a sucker for Batman news, so anytime you give me a scoop, particularly when Batman is going to be seen in a very different light than we've ever seen him before, I think that's awesome, and I think that's the way to do that movie. Yes, Batman is still going to be our hero of heroes, but when you put him in a film like this, it reminded me of like when you see a Western and Billy the Kid is the character you're following. Even though he wasn't the best guy, I'm rooting for Billy the Kid against Pat Garrett, even though Pat Garrett is like the sheriff who's like hired to go get Billy the Kid and stop him from being an outlaw, but we're rooting for the outlaws in this movie. It's not going to work for every film, but for Suicide Squad, I think it's the right take to have from Batman's point of view, or not Batman's point of view, as the case may be. How do you see this, Schnepp?
Oh, it's exciting. I mean, when Ayers came on, he says it in the article. It's like, I added Joker, I added Batman, because he's like, who wouldn't do that? If you're like getting a chance to play in the DC playground, he was like, I want him. So putting them in, I think the perspective of not Batman, but from the villain's point of view, like Deadshot is angry with Batman, like he's got like posters of kill the bat in his prison cell. So you're layering it up and like having him be a personality and a character without being from Bruce Wayne's point of view, from the villain's point of view. And I'm excited to see how that plays out. So that's exciting. And also the reinvention of the Joker, when he's talking about how him and Jared kind of came up with this way of putting it all together, and like he knew that Jared would stay in character the whole time, so he was kind of like, he knew what kind of chaos that would bring on the set. So it's kind of a fun insight into that.
Harloff, your biggest takeaway from all the Suicide Squad stuff?
Well, I think the main thing with Batman was it reminded me of what Nolan did in that first Batman Begins, because there were those elements of like almost where Batman was this horror movie character, totally. and I think that's just what Batman has been in the criminal's point of view. So we get to see that, but it also let us know everything that we've kind of been speculating in these trailers, with a lot of the flashback stuff. And when we saw Batman kind of land on the hood, we all assumed that would be flashback Now, that's not confirmed that it is, but I'm kind of guessing that it would be, kind of showing how the Joker and Harley Quinn made it into Arkham. So I like that it's not going to be completely linear, because it would also make sense when we see Batman. We are going to assume that it's before the events of Batman v Superman. We think, and I think that that's a good way to do it, and to bring him more into, maybe it's all the criminals are haunted by him, and we see their personal experiences with him in the past, and it's a good way to bring Affleck into it and give us our Batman fix, if you will. Yeah. So I like everything that's being said. I like the idea of introducing Joker this way and Harley Quinn this way, and that you're getting the point of view from the Suicide Squad, the way they see Batman, because that's what we want. That's the way this movie has been sold to us. So it sounds like it's about to deliver on that promise.
You bring up a good point with the horror movie aspect of it, because if it is indeed a flashback, it doesn't really matter if it's a flashback or not, because the specter of Batman is looming over all of these villains. As you implied, Schnepp, when you see the Kill the Bat and Deadshot cell, they all, or at least some of them, have a history with Batman. So when they are out in the world, yes, they're on a mission, but they also always have this thing. It's almost like they know Jason is always, it could be lurking around that corner when they're trying to pull off something. So it's nice to add that layer of intensity to something that already seems awesome. This made me more excited for Suicide Squad. Reading all this stuff on Collider made me even more excited for this movie. So we only got a couple more weeks before we get to see it on August 5th. In the meantime, let's talk about another DC property. What's up next, Ash?
When Warner Brothers announced their Comic-Con film lineup, there was a quiet Easter egg hidden within, a confirmation of the screenwriters for the upcoming Wonder Woman film. Originally, there were 5 writers brought in to give treatments for the story, with Jason Fuchs winning that bid, and IMDb still reporting him as the screenwriter. Now, thanks to Warner Brothers' own Comic-Con press release, we know that Wonder Woman was in fact penned by Allan Heinberg and Geoff Johns. The two have worked together before, notably in writing a 5-issue arc of JLA and the relaunch of Wonder Woman. Johns is also the chief creative officer of DC Comics and has written for the CW's The Flash, Arrow, and the Justice League TV series. The press release also revealed the synopsis for Wonder Woman, which reads: before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, princess of the Amazons, trained to be an unconquerable warrior. Raised on a sheltered island, Paradise, when an American pilot crashes on their shores and tells of a massive conflict raging in the outside world, Diana leaves her home convinced she can stop the threat. Fighting alongside man in a war to end all wars, Diana will discover her full powers and her true destiny. Wonder Woman is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. It opens in theaters on June 2nd, 2017. Schnepp, what do you think of the reveal that Allan Heinberg and Geoff Johns are writing Wonder Woman?
It's a really great reveal. I mean, especially after the previous screenwriter had written Pan and also Ice Age. It was very sort of like, really? He's writing Wonder Woman? Well, maybe it's great. I think they kind of went a different direction. It's a story by Zack Snyder and Allan Heinberg. So that got me a little nervous just because of Sucker Punch and just the way, Batman v Superman, the story kind of like a little all over the place. But knowing that Geoff Johns came in to script it with the same guy who came up with the story with Zack makes me feel like, it's going to have that comic book feel. So I'm looking forward to it now more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, too, when you see the lineage of what these guys have worked on in the DC universe from a comic book perspective with the Justice League comics, and then also the new reboot of Wonder Woman that is currently on comic book shelves. You want them to have the source material, the knowledge, and then when you go forward into the movie, it seems like they have it. From a fan base perspective, Kristian, this is what fans wanted to see when they heard a Wonder Woman movie was in production. So regardless of how you felt about Batman versus Superman, the Wonder Woman scenes, you see that Gal Gadot can in fact pull this off pretty well. So then you see the storyline and who's writing it. Does it get you more excited?
It does, because I think it's an example of utilizing what you have. If you have the talents that are working on Wonder Woman and this character all of the time in comic books and are around the feature film world and are certainly capable of doing it, utilize them. And they are. That's a way to do it. You're putting Geoff Johns into play to where you kept teasing, what's he going to do? Well, he's writing the damn script. That's great. And as far as the other writer goes, for Pan, maybe they kind of did what they did with Michael Arndt in episode 7, is where give us a base, give us something to work off here, give us some points that we can go off. Okay, I like that. Now we're going to change that up. That's not really true to the character, and let's start moving things around. And it seems like that's what they did. So I think this is a very encouraging story for fans of the DC universe, for fans of the Wonder Woman stuff, because just the little footage that I saw in that little DC special had me excited for it. And I always thought that they should do a Wonder Woman in the period piece where she came up from, because when it was over at Joel Silver, they tried to kind of move it into the future, and it's like, no, this is before Captain America's, and it's like, no, they didn't think that the period piece could work. They tried. Joss Whedon's script wasn't going to be it was going to be in present day stuff, and it wasn't. They weren't grasping what it was all about. Seems like these guys do, so I'm excited and encouraged for it.
And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I got to ask you guys, do you think that Wonder Woman might have the biggest pop from Comic-Con simply because of you see footage and you see a full panel dedicated to it, and the movie's coming out so much sooner than when you're going to get to see Justice League, so perhaps they have more to give us, and this could be what DC is basing their Comic-Con around?
Well, I certainly think that Wonder Woman's going to have a big presence, and we got to remember, this is the first time we're getting her own feature film. We haven't gotten that from her. This is like, for so long, when are we getting Wonder Woman? When is it coming? People forget, like, when are we getting this movie? We're finally going to get it. It's going to be a big pop for sure. Now, will it be bigger than Justice League pop if they show anything from Justice League? I think no. But the question on the table is whether or not they're even going to show any Justice League stuff. Some people say it's not going to happen. I happen to think they're going to show something from Justice League because of that set visit, the release that they did so early. It's like, why do you do all of that stuff so early, and then Comic-Con comes and you go, nah, we're just going to focus on these things here. So I still think that if Justice League comes out, yes, that will get a bigger pop, but I still think the Wonder Woman trailer footage will be the talk of Comic-Con.
Schnepp, the final word on Wonder Woman goes to you. Will we see Linda Carter at that panel?
Possibly, but I think we will see, hopefully, the trailer for Wonder Woman, or at least an early teaser. And I think some of the stuff they showed in that DC special was really exciting. We're going to see that. They're going to elaborate on that. We'll probably see some of the other characters, the Queen, Ares, a lot of the other players, a lot of big name actors are in it. I'm really excited. I cannot wait to see that trailer. And if it's amazing, you're right. It's going to be, everyone's going to be talking about it.
All right. Well, our next story, actually, I want to remind you, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, got it.
Good to go.
All right, having already filled its upcoming monster universe with A-list talent including Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, and Russell Crowe, Universal is now eyeing another star to revive a famous character. According to a report from Variety, Javier Bardem is in talks to star as Frankenstein in Universal's classic monster movie series. It's currently unknown which monster feature Bardem will first appear in. Cruise and Crowe will both appear in The Mummy, the first film in the monster series, which is nearly done with filming. Universal is also developing Bride of Frankenstein, but Variety sources indicate that Bardem's Frankenstein would likely appear in another monster pick first, with the possibility of getting a spin-off down the road. No other information has been revealed. Kristian, thoughts on Javier Bardem playing Frankenstein in the shared universe of monster movies?
Holy crap, Universal, you've done it. You have gotten me excited about this damn monster movie universe. I don't know how they did it, because when that Dracula Untold thing came out years ago, I'm like, just kill this stupid thing. Who needs this?
Remember I, Frankenstein?
It's like, just get rid of it. Who needs this dumb shared universe monster movie? Now they're going to try to win an Oscar for these things. They're getting, Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise. And
part of a shared monster universe.
I mean, are you kidding me? The casting, when we said this, they're not sparing any expense. It's go after the top tier talent, get everyone. It's like, guess what? Guess who's going to play Squirrel Boy next? It's like Daniel Day-Lewis. Awesome.
Right.
Like, they're going to go after all these people, and it's just so smart. And the fact that, and hearing Ashley say, well, then they're going to do Bride of Frankenstein, but yet he's going to be in a movie first. And if it wasn't Javier Bardem, it was just like, oh, they're just going to do these characters. I'm like, come on, you're pushing it. You're just trying to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Cut it out. But now I'm going, well, you know what? They're putting together, they're following the Marvel standpoint is where get the talent involved, get people excited about the talent. Now, I'm saying all this. If the first movie comes out, I don't care who it has in it, and with Cruise and Crowe, and it sucks, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. But it doesn't seem like it seems like they're putting a lot of care and effort into this thing. So I think this is really smart, and it's refreshing. I'm excited to get a shared universe to where I don't have to. I'm not going to wonder if Batman's going to be in it. I don't know if Iron Man's going to be in it. It's a brand new shared universe that I'm pretty excited about.
They're putting a lot of effort, a lot of care, and a lot of dollars into this thing because you're getting A-list talent, and that ain't cheap. First of all, if that's any indication as to what Frankenstein's going to look like, he's almost Tiger Beat cover worthy. That is by far the best looking Frankenstein I have ever seen in my entire life, and it's largely because Javier Bardem will be playing the guy. What makes me nervous about this, Javier Bardem's a fantastic actor. I think he's great. If you look at him as Anton Chigurh, and it's not that far of a leap to just take that little, cow pellet gun out of his hand and then just have him lumbering around. He could be Frankenstein. I'm nervous about how they introduce him, though. Is he like he's going to be in another movie first, so it's not a Frankenstein movie, so he's just kind of lumbering around. Like, who finds Frankenstein's monster and has him walking around? Is he going to play an integral part? Is he just going to be a cameo where there's like the mummy's terrorizing somebody and then he's in the background, you see him lumbering down the street? How do you get Frankenstein to make a cameo in another movie before you have his own Frankenstein movie? That is the question I put to you, Jon Schnepp. Make me a film.
Mark, first of all, he's not going to lumber. All right, Javier Bardem is going to be playing the monster. Now, he lumbers when he's first built and created, but if in the actual book, as well as a lot of the series, not the original, Boris Karloff Frankenstein, but the later ones, he's actually super intelligent, highly intelligent, can not lumber, walk. And,
he gets in the gym, he can move.
He's actually, he's a very intelligent monster, you might say. And I think that's how they're going to introduce him. They're going to introduce him like Invisible Man could be in it and you wouldn't even know because he's invisible.
Who plays the Invisible Man?
Johnny Depp.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Russell Crowe is Dr. Jekyll, and Bardem originally said no to Dr. Jekyll, and they came back at him as, will you play Frankenstein's monster? And he said yes. And I'm with you, Kristian, and like this makes me really excited for the entire franchise now to see how they're going to be taking these really well-known, amazing actors and actresses. Angelina Jolie is supposedly playing the bride of Frankenstein. So what they're doing is they're kind of going to weave this in and out, like where you'll see Dr. Jekyll, but he's not going to be Mr. Hyde. You might meet Frankenstein, the monster, but years later, after he's already been built by Dr. Frankenstein, or so yeah. To me, all this news as a big Universal horror fan that I am is exciting. When at first I heard we're gonna do like a Marvel version and make them all like superhero monsters, like I cannot wait to hate on this. I was so much pre-hating on just that idea, but then as it slowly laid out with not just Tom Cruise, then Johnny Depp, then Russell Crowe, Angelina Jolie, Bardem, all these different people, their names being in the mix and how they're laying it out, they're like, all right, we've got the Mummy first, then what's next?
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man, we don't know which one they're going to go second with, but I'm all in. I can't wait to see what Bardem does in just The Mummy if he's going to be in it.
Well, it's funny, though, too, because normally we're singing a different tune a lot of times. It's like, I don't know. You put Angelina Jolie in there, I take away, all I see is Angelina Jolie. You put, like, Johnny Depp, all I see is Johnny Depp. This is a little different.
Yeah.
Because even though these characters of the Invisible Man, the Wolfman, they've been around for so long, there's something about the way that they're going after stars / amazing actors at the same time. It's just it just all is fitting together really well.
You know what it's leading towards?
What?
Monster Squad. Get a reboot of Monster Squad. Get them all in the same movie.
Shane Black has to write it again, though.
It's going to be the Avengers of bad guys. Who gets to play Count Dracula? Brad Pitt.
Right?
Stand by your phone. You might get a buzz at any minute now. Ashley, are you excited to see these A-list stars playing monsters?
I am. I don't know if Angelina Jolie is confirmed yet.
She's not confirmed
that
yet.
would like take my excitement to a whole nother level. I think she's so perfect for that role. I think she's so perfect for it.
It's going to be a great Monster Squad. That's what I'm looking forward to. And in the meantime, it'll be cool to see the Mummy and maybe Frankenstein. Definitely as Javier Bardem. We're going to go on to buy or sell now. We're going to hit the Wendy cam at the end of this show to see what you guys are saying in the chat room, so keep those comments coming. In the meantime, Ashley's going to give us a premise now. We're going to say that whether we buy it or sell it, then defend our choice to the death if necessary. What do we got first?
Back in April, the first teaser poster for Kingsman: The Golden Circle hinted at the return of Colin Firth's secret agent Harry Hart with the character's signature glasses over a text that read, "Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." Now, a new snapshot from the set via co-star Pedro Pascal's Instagram seems to reveal that Colin Firth's Harry will be in the movie. No other information is provided from the post, so there's no telling whether or not Firth's character is a twin, as rumored, resurrected, or just guest appearing in a flashback. Taron Egerton returns as Egg Z for Kingsman: The Golden Circle, along with Mark Strong, Halle Berry, Pedro Pascal, Channing Tatum, Julianne Moore, Jeff Bridges, Vinnie Jones, and Sir Elton John. Directed by Matthew Vaughn, Kingsman: The Golden Circle will be released on June 16, 2017. Mark Biersell, the apparent return of Colin Firth's Harry Hart.
I'll buy it. It's a slight buy for me as a fan because it seems a little tough to get him back into the movie as far as the narrative going forward would go. Because like if he was in a flashback, I don't think they'd put that text in there that says reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. That's not just a flashback kind of sequence. That's either where you have a twin situation or you have some way that he was able to rig something happening at that church where we thought he died and he actually didn't. So I like seeing Colin Firth in the movie. I loved him in the first one. I would love to see him in a new Kingsman if you can do it in a fun, believable fashion. So I'll buy it, but it's not a huge buy for me at this point. How about you, Kristian?
It's a huge buy for me because originally what I was saying was, why are they going to do it? The way that they set it up is kind of cheaping it. He's not coming back this is a spoiler. So get ready for the spoiler if you didn't see it or ready from the report. He gets shot in the head. He's gone.
And his brains are blown
He's
out
dead.
of the back of his head. It's not like just you see him fall over. You see his brains.
I mean, we saw it. It wasn't like, we dumped him in a river somewhere. We saw it happen.
We saw it. Now remember, there's two. The twin thing. I think it's a Jor-El situation. I think it's the same type of thing. What they did in Man of Steel, to where he was able to upload, whether it's his consciousness. The whole point is that this spy technology and everything that they have. So whether or not he's still able to talk to Eggsy through this technology, very possible. They uploaded his subconsciousness. He was able to do whatever they throw in there. Some ridiculous technology that can work. I'll buy it because it's over the top. It's a spoof on all the Bond movies, and they're going to do something like that. So that is a way. It's like he becomes Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That to me is a way that you can continue to do that if they make 5 Kingsmen, and Harry can always be in it. So I would prefer that over a twin. Twin would be silly, and for him to come back would cheapen it. So I hope it's my way.
So that's the way you want it to be, and you would not approve of it if there was just some way that there was some magical trick that he pulled.
It cheapens it.
Threw the wool over everybody's eyes.
It cheapens it, and like I said, and I'm really Matthew Vaughn right now. To me, can do no wrong. He's been great. So if he finds a way to do it to where I go, all right. I think to me the way that you can continue it on is if you just can put him in technology and let him just be in Eggsy's ear from the rest of this franchise.
I got one movie for it. It's called Videodrome, and the character in it is Dr. Oblivion. And how does he live on? It's through VHS tapes. He's taped like 10,000. Like you open a room, there's like a library of 10,000. He's like, so he's immortal and eternal. And
that's a lot of free
And
time.
if you have a question, go to this. Like he has everything subcategorized. I think that's what they're going to do with this. Only it's not going to be VHS tapes. It's going to be digitally. I've given tips in class and like all kinds of like learning. So yeah, he can be at Obi-Wan at a moment's notice. And the reports of my demise have been. That's the very first thing he'll probably be saying on the videotape. Well, obviously I am dead, but you're watching it. So that's the only way it can move forward. There's no twin. It's like he didn't escape death. His brain exploded. Come on, that just cheapens it. I know it's a comic book, but I like that idea too. I buy that he's back in it, and I know that they're going to honor it, and they're not going to cheapen his death in the first film, but he's going to get to live on, like you said. I think it'll be like a course of like camera and like, hey, here's some further training for you. If you're watching this, I'm dead.
It's a smart way to do it. Yeah,
that's the Bond way to do it.
All right, you guys seem hell bent on that. I wonder what Dr. Oblivion would have to say about the whole matter. Personally, let's move on to our next topic.
Taking to his Instagram account yesterday, The Rock dropped a huge hint about his Fast 8 character Hobbs in a new set photo of himself wearing a familiar orange jumpsuit and handcuffs in a prison setting. Johnson wrote the same caption for the new photo as he did for another set photo of Hobbs that he shared a couple of weeks ago. The Iceman cometh and don't effeth around. The prison shot is the most recent of sneak peeks that Johnson has shared from the set of the upcoming Fast 8. The movie stars Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Kurt Russell, Jason Statham, Charlize Theron, and Helen Mirren, and is directed by Straight Outta Compton's Helmer F. Gary Gray. It is set to be released on April 14, 2017. Schnepp Biersell, The Rock, in his orange jumpsuit from Fast 8.
Sure, I'll buy the orange jumpsuit, and I mean this is number 8. And what are they're going to do? Like how many more of these?
37.
Yeah, this is 37. So they're going to do one a year, and Hobbs will be in like every other one or something.
Probably gonna have a spin-off.
Yeah,
for sure.
spin-off. So yeah, why not? I mean, I think they're taking the character in a different vein, in a different realm. Now he's in prison, so I buy the look. I'd like to see. I can't wait to see the movie.
I'm going to sell it based on the fact that I don't think he's actually in prison.
Yeah.
That I think that it's like a prison break situation. I think he's
right
in
on.
prison to get somebody else out, so I sell it. I think the pick looks cool, but I sell the fact that he's ever actually been in prison because The Rock is too good of a guy, even his character in this franchise, too good of a dude to be put behind bars unless it was for some undercover scheme to knock somebody else out. What say you?
I agree with you, but I buy it because of that. I think that that's what the movie is what the character is. So you see, he looks like a badass in it. I'll buy that he's going to be pretending that he's in jail, and
That's why he's got the long goatee.
Yeah, and you can already see it. It's like they're gonna have this crazy big breakout fight where cars are probably gonna fly into the prison.
He's gonna smash through more brick
he's gonna start punching bricks and throwing cars from his left hand. It's gonna be insane, and I can't wait to see it. But yes, all that does is it shows me we're having a absolute nutty scene. Get ready for it, because his fights have been like main event stuff. Like when he fought Statham in the last one, the Vin Diesel that was number incredible. 5 was a great fight. They have been playing up on the fact that he used to main event WrestleMania, and he main events these movies too, and he's going to main event it this time in a jumpsuit. So I'm in.
Yeah, I just don't know if I buy The Rock as an action star. I'm kidding. Okay.
What do you really think? Wait, but do you like the?
I like the picture.
It doesn't matter what you think.
He got played into that one.
Wow. I walked right into your Frankenstein one.
Yeah,
I walked right into, this really hurt this morning. My brain's not working. That was good, though. What's up next?
It's okay.
Fix your candy ass.
That seemed a little hurtful.
Topic number 6.
Nice.
Yes.
In the wake of the Hateful Eight release, filmmaker Quentin Tarantino addressed his long-promised retirement and revealed who he thinks is the best character he's ever written in the process. For some time now, Tarantino has been saying that after his 10th film, he's going to retire from movie making and switch gears to writing film criticism and books, which means he only has 2 movies left if he is to be believed. Speaking at the Jerusalem Film Festival via a report from Screen Daily, Tarantino talked about his retirement, saying he does reserve the right to return if he comes up with a story he wants to make. I am planning to stop at 10 films, but at 75, I might decide I have another story to do. In regards to his best character creations, Tarantino said, "Londa is the best character I've ever written and maybe the best I ever will write. I didn't realize when I was first writing him that he was a linguistic genius. He's probably one of the only Nazis in history who could speak perfect Yiddish." Kristian, buy or sell Tarantino retiring after his 10th film?
Sell. There's no way. He might. I'll buy that he thinks he's going to do it, and he'll do it for as long as he can. But the guy has film in his blood. He just he is an anomaly. He's one of these guys that right now he can say this because he's still making movies. He's still prepping movies. He's still got things that he wants to. Yeah, and I totally buy 100% that he wants to do the film criticism, and he wants to do these other short projects, and he'll do all that stuff that he says. He's a guy that when he says he wants to do it, he does it. But there's just no way him sitting around not prepping or writing a movie. He's just going to start to twitch, and he won't be able to do it. So I just don't buy it. Now I think that he might be able to hold out for 5 years tops, but retiring, no, there's absolutely no chance. And
that's
the
the
fans
bet.
won't let him.
You know,
the fans won't let him.
How many years before you come out of retirement? Because there's no way he's retiring permanently. Quentin Tarantino, he enjoys hearing himself talk, and when he gets on a rant, he will continue it and see it to its conclusion. In this case, he keeps saying that he's going to retire. I just feel like he's a guy who likes to be mentioned in conversation. Yeah. So if he is writing a book on film criticism, or he just wants to write something else, or just chill, he wants people to want him, and he will come out of retirement for the right project. Don't get me wrong. He's not just going to do a movie for the sake of doing a movie. I think that he could also move into another format where if he's not necessarily doing a film, he could want to do a miniseries. He could want to do something that's on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, something streaming like that. He is such a creative person that you cannot keep that at bay for too long. So no, I don't think he's retiring at all. How about you, John?
Yeah, I sell him retiring as well. I guess it's all three of us selling it. You're right. I mean, he's got 2 more films. He's probably written the 9th film that he's going to make, maybe prepping it. We don't know. That's going to come out in, 2 years? then it's the 10th film, the last film. That's another like 5 years from now. He's not going to. I mean, that's the thing is like, yeah, I agree. He's said this for many years in a row. He's like, hey, I want to get out before I start making, lame movies, and like, a director only has so many movies in there, in them to make, and then they just start sucking. So he doesn't want to. He wants to end on a high note. I appreciate that, but you don't know what your high note is until you do it, and you don't know what your low note is until you do it. So for Tarantino, he's had like a great 8 movies, but a couple of them aren't as great as the other ones. So he might have already hit his low note and he's still on the rise. So it's hard to tell. Plus, you can never, like, especially if you're a creative, you cannot force yourself to not create. So yes, he's got ideas and he wants to enjoy. He bought the new Beverly, wants to sit there for like a year and watch movies endlessly. That would just be fun. Like, making stuff is really hard, and people always forget about that. When you're making something, it's a full-time job. It's not like you get to check in at 10 o'clock and check out at 6. It's every waking moment of your life. Every day you're thinking about the thing that you're making. It absorbs you. It's all encompassing. So I understand when it's like, look, I want to get out and just enjoy the rest of my life and not be absorbed by this creature called a film or a TV show or anything that's like, it's all encompassing. But he's also that kind of guy. I agree with you. Like, in 5 years, he's going to have that. I have a great idea. So what he's doing, I think, in a smart way, is saying, I reserve the right to make 10 more movies. F you. If I'm in retirement, just like Miyazaki, I'm going to come out of retirement. I'm going to make something that I'm going back into retirement. Then I'm coming out again. So I'm fully into what he said.
I think he retires in the same way that like Kiss retired. Like, you retire for now. It's never. If you see a rock band, it's never ever their farewell. They could be dead, and they will come back to life to play music.
He's going to go to the New Beverly, like you said, and if he's watching movies for 2 years, he's been watching the same movies that he's watched, or even new ones, right? And he's gonna go, oh wait, man, what if I had this and that Sam Jackson in there? Oh wait, man, I got 5 more left in me. He can
break out that Mead notebook.
He's gonna
and start
do
writing
that
because
he's always thinking. His brain doesn't sleep. So the more he looks at a year off of not thinking about anything except, what else can I do, man? That's what's going to happen.
He's a mad scientist. I really picture him like a Dr. Frankenstein in a lab, just running around having all these ideas. Eventually, they will get back out into the world.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Vegas odds have it at a negative 800.
I would say, and I think 5 years is a pretty good over-under, too. So I take the under, actually. I think he'll be retired for under 5 years and announce something else is going to be his 11th film. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think it'll be too long. All right, now we move on to opening this week. Hey, Ashley, are there any movies coming out this week that maybe the internet would want to talk about?
There sure are.
Okay.
Ghostbusters comes out this week. Paranormal researcher Abby Yates, Melissa McCarthy, and physicist Aaron Gilbert are trying to prove that ghosts exist in modern society. When strange apparitions appear in Manhattan, Gilbert and Yates turn to engineer Jillian Holtzman for help. Also joining the team is Patty Tolan, a lifelong New Yorker who knows the city inside and out. Armed with proton packs and plenty of attitude, the 4 women prepare for an epic battle as more than 1,000 mischievous ghouls descend on Times Square.
Thank you to our friends at AMC Theatres for this segment opening this week. And Ghostbusters is something that everybody seems to have an opinion on. You open up your computer, you look on the internet, and you just see so many comments. Some are pro. A lot of them were negative initially about Ghostbusters, but it seems recently, now that some critics and reviews have started to come in, it's like, hey, maybe this movie isn't as bad as everybody made it out to be, or maybe the trailers showed us. I, myself, and Kristian are going to go see this movie tonight, and I have a level of optimism going into it, as I always have. I didn't love the trailers. I didn't hate them either. I thought that maybe they're not showing us their best punch. I was a little nervous. I'm a little more confident now. I think I'm going to enjoy this movie. How do you feel?
I'm really nervous. I feel the same way I did last week, because I want to judge this thing for myself, because I have really not been sold on any of the trailers so far. Has nothing to do with the fact that there's 4 women Ghostbusters. I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by the fact that Paul Feig is directing this thing. I just haven't liked anything that I've seen. I am certainly not one of those people that are sitting there and hearing someone, if I hear someone who does a review and they're like, well, I liked it. No, you don't. You haven't seen the movie yet. Right. So I'm gonna see the movie. I'm very interested, because regardless, this movie has everybody talking. Now, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing at this point, we'll find out very soon. But I'm interested. I don't think this was a movie that needed to be remade. I think the story could have been continued, but I'm going to, again, see how I feel tomorrow.
I will disagree with that. I like that they have a new universe in this, but you and I can go tomato all day because we haven't seen the movie yet. Somebody on this panel has, and if you want to see the review from our own Collider Video team, you can check that out. It's online right now here on this YouTube channel. I believe you participated in that review, Jon Schnepp.
Yeah, we did a non-spoilers review. You could check that out, but I'll give you a quick nugget review for myself, or you can go to my Instagram and read my own personal review of it.
Nuggets.
I know nuggets. I like to say that Ghostbusters, it's not a great film. It didn't suck, but it's very uneven, and parts of it are funny. I laughed out loud at a lot of stuff. There's some new stuff. There's a lot of old stuff that doesn't work that they brought along. The script is really uneven. I mean, it's just one of those things where I went in, I thought the trailers were really disappointing. I felt, I don't know what I'm going to see, and it beat my expectations. So that's, I can say the positive parts of it is like, there are actually funny parts. Some of the new Ghostbusters actually work really well together. I think Wig and McCarthy and Leslie Jones are incredible. Leslie Jones especially has some incredibly funny standout moments that I was laughing out loud in the theater. So I think she really brought it, and it works. All of the comedy works better in context. That's all I can say. The trailers don't work because they're micro edits, and in order to actually enjoy comedy, it's all about timing and pacing, which you don't get in a trailer. So I was hoping that they would at least release like a 5-minute scene so you got the full flow of something. But once again, the clips that they released also were just at least not the right ones as far as I'm concerned. I would suggest if you're going to see it in 3D, because this is the best use of 3D that I've ever seen yet. Wow. It really, the proton beams and everything, the ghosts flying around, they actually fly off the screen, off the edge of the screen. Watch it.
It's like a haunted mansion.
Yeah, it was really fun. I thought some of the creativity was there. Some of the effects aren't there. The ending really does not work. So I'd say the last 30 minutes are pretty bad.
Is Kate McKinnon too over the top?
She's way over the top. I left her out because, look, I mean, she's acting like she's in a different movie.
Yeah.
And so is Chris Hemsworth. They both feel like they're not in the same, like someone, they're like in a different movie completely. Okay. So those are the bad parts. Like for me, some people loved McKinnon, so it's all subjective. But my opinion of it is like, it's not a horrible film. Like Independence Day, do not see that sequel. That's horrible. This is one of those films where you're just sort of like, hey, I heard about it. It's a ghost. I liked the original Ghostbusters. I'll give this a chance. It has a lot of those elements of the original Ghostbusters. Just the story just doesn't work. But go see it in 3D if you have to.
All right, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Your movie review nuggets. Delicious. Let's move on to mailbag.
It's like a meatball sandwich, you know what I mean?
Where
just a
you guys
little
send
nugget.
in your emails to collidervideo@gmail.com, and Ashley's going to read a few right now. We're also going to save a couple minutes at the end of the show for your live Twitter questions, so go ahead and start tweeting us at Collider Video. What's up first in the mailbag?
Ryan Benfield writes, hey guys, I watch your show every day and absolutely love it. Some of my favorite childhood memories are of watching the classic Tarzan movies with my grandfather when they came on AMC. I recently lost my grandfather back in December, so the release of the new Tarzan movie brought back old memories. My question is there a movie/TV show that you love to watch simply because of the memories you have of it, even though it may not be a great movie? Thanks and keep up the good work.
I'm going off course here. I'm not going to do a movie. I'm going to do a TV show. Saved by the Bell is not a good show. It was not a great sitcom, but I love it, and I will still watch it if it's on to this day. The Adventures of Zack and the Gang. Hey, you know what? I'm friends forever with the Zack Attack. How about you, Schnepp?
I was going to say the picture that Aura picked is from Tarzan the Ape Man with Bo Derek. So that's
she's a 10.
That's one of the reasons you should see that version of Tarzan for sure. The movie I like to go back to is The Black Hole, that Disney film with Vincent and Maximilian. I just had fond memories of that came out just a few years after Star Wars, so it got me as a little kid who I want to have lasers and spaceships. It worked for me.
There's only one answer. Flash.
Yes.
Flash Gordon. I'll tell you, man, because you try to watch it now, not gonna work. It is a terrible movie.
No.
Love it.
No. It's not a bad movie.
It's horrible.
It's a bad movie. An amazing film.
Horrible.
I'll argue with you at some
Listen,
point.
it is an amazing bad film. I love that movie, and I can watch it because of the fond memories that I have, and because I was in fantasy mode. And when you're a kid, you're watching it; everything is real. You step back and you watch it now; it's not so good.
It's a comedy. That's what I like about it.
There's some ridiculous stuff happening in that movie, but it is great, and I still think that there's a lot of elements to turn it into something great. And I'm still hoping Matthew Vaughn gets his mitts on that. But
yes,
for now, I'm going to say that is a movie I can go back and always watch.
New York Jets quarterback saving the world.
Yeah.
They even have a quarterback.
Max von Sydow as Ming. I agree with you. I'd even replace my Black Hole with Flash Gordon, but Black Hole is not as good as Flash Gordon. That's why I picked it.
All right, Geno Smith defending us from Ming. Let's see how that goes. What's our next mailbag question?
Daniel Yamasaki writes, "Hey Collider crew, I'm a huge fan, a longtime viewer. I was wondering, in your opinion, what are some of the best last performances of an actor or actress's career? One of my picks would be Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Thanks, and keep up the amazing work."
Yeah, the first thing I thought when I read this was another tragic end to an actor, and actually happened on the set, and that would be Brandon Lee in The Crow, where he's just starting. You're just starting to see that this guy has acting chops to go along with his action charisma, because he was good in Rapid Fire. Like, it's not a good movie, but as an action star, you can be like, oh yeah, he clearly has all the moves on screen. He's got a little bit of personality, but the acting was not the best in Rapid Fire. That'd probably be another movie I like watching, even though it's not that good. But The Crow, you're like, oh wow, this guy really can bring it. That movie could have been a franchise if not for his untimely demise. How about you?
I mean, I'd throw Philip Seymour Hoffman in the last couple of things he's done, or even Alan Rickman in the last.
Eye in the Sky.
Yeah,
it was a great film.
So, but Philip Seymour Hoffman, even though, regardless of what you think about Hunger Games, he brought such a calmness. You understood that you just feel his presence. So I thought that he brought a lot to that franchise. So Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Mr. Schnepp?
Well, I was going to pick Brandon Lee, but because you picked him, I'm going to go back in the Wayback Machine and pick John Candy. I mean, it's someone who died while he was shooting a film. It's unfortunate. Like, if you go back, you could look it up. Like, it's hundreds of actors and actresses die while they're making films. They have heart attacks on sets, or they just have a brain aneurysm, or they're in an accident. It just happens. Just like we don't pick the day we die, neither do the actors while they're shooting their movies. So it is kind of a sad thing when you see how many people, like, it was Clark Gable and Marilyn Monroe were in this movie called Giant. They both died before it came out. So there's a lot of different people, but I'll pick John Candy.
Was it Wagons East or
it was
Canadian
Wagons
Bacon?
East. Wagons East is where he died on.
He died on that set. I think Canadian Bacon might have been the last movie
that was his
released,
last movie,
but one of the all-time greats, acting-wise too, not just
Uncle
comedy.
Buck forever. Yeah.
It's better than the TV show that just got canceled.
Yes,
now, before we go on to live Twitter questions, I do want to check in with our own Wendy Lee, who's been monitoring all you guys in the chat room. Wendy, what were they saying about that Suicide Squad news that we talked about at the top? And also, do they think that Quentin Tarantino can actually stay retired?
Well, the Suicide Set reports is getting the chat really excited for the movie. The chat's also pretty hyped for Batman being in the film, but they don't expect him to see him for more than about 5 minutes. Mr. Taddy Mack says, "I think Suicide Squad may have flashbacks peppered through the film showing the origination of Harley Quinn and her demented relationship with the Joker, similar to the format of Deadpool." And for that buy or sell with Quentin Tarantino retiring, the chat's selling. They don't believe that he's going to be retiring anytime soon. Some are saying that he says this every few years and there's no way he can stay away. They're also saying, why retire? Just take a longer break between films. Ginger Weatherby says he's not retiring. He's too damn creative to not contribute to film in some way. He'll just go crazy inside of 2 years and start again.
Yeah, you see that, chat room? We all agree on something, that Quentin Tarantino is going to keep on making movies until the day he dies. Now let's go on to Twitter questions. We got a couple questions that we're going to take. Ashley, what's up first?
Alan Reed writes, "Are there Marvel post-credit scenes in the script, or do they just wing it?"
They just wing it. I think they just show up on set and they just yeah, they're in the they might have like made up the shawarma scene on set, those kind of more jokey post-credit scenes. But I think as of now, they're pretty planned out because they have the movie and they know what the next project that they're leaning towards is. So, like, for instance, if you saw Civil War and you see that post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene, that clearly is an indication as to the next or one of the next Marvel films to come out. So they're pretty well thought out, right, John?
I think they're thought out, but I think they're also, like, once they've shot the entire film, then they're in post-production, they've got a couple of films in the slate, they're like, hey, let's add this film for this post-credit scene. So I think they're picked towards the end of the production after they've done their reshoots and stuff. So I don't think they're added in the script phase of the film. I think they're added in post.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think that sometimes they know, like, as they're producing it, they're saying, okay, you know what, we should have a post-credit scene that ties into this film here. And then there's other times
Iron Man 3 is a perfect example.
Yes. And then other things like Schnepp saying, so for example, in Ant-Man, when they had shot stuff for Civil War, like they threw in that scene at the end because they had already shot it. They didn't know, and they did use part of it. They did use a lot of it actually in the actual movie, but they put that scene and they put it in the end in one of the post-credit scenes for Ant-Man. So it's just a matter of if it links in, they'll use it. They can be shooting footage and go, wait, why don't we use that? Or it could be a deleted scene or something that they weren't going to use, but it still ties in overall. So it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, see, I think they look at it and they're like, because if you looked at the script for Civil War, you could say, hey, maybe our shooting schedule should knock this out now because we can put that in Ant-Man. Same way that if you're shooting a movie and you want to base part of your early shoot around making a trailer, like what we saw from Guardians of the Galaxy at Comic-Con, it's like, hey, let's get our shooting schedule around making this trailer so we can go ahead and get some positive word out before the movie's finished. That's how they do it, we think. Yeah. Okay, last Twitter question of the day.
All right, I know there was talks about this, but I don't know if there were any updates. Jonathan Peck writes, with everybody playing Pokemon Go, can we see a live-action Pokemon film? And P.S., I want Edgar Wright to direct it.
I would defer to my expert colleagues on here. You know, the shit rats should be something in a Pokemon movie.
Yeah, maybe they're Pokemon.
They should be like the villain in a Pokemon movie because they terrorize me every time I show up to this set. Oh, they found something up in the sky. That'll be a clever meme. You know, when you look at the Pokemon Go movie, yeah, I think this game is huge. It's monstrous. You should definitely have some sort of Pokemon adventure in a movie theater going forward. Not necessarily that I want to see. Live action, I think you could see that, like a mixture of live action and CGI a la the dreaded Smurfs. What do you say, Schnepp?
Do a relationship breakdown movie where somebody's like, she's just moving around with this camera. You know, I don't know. To make it a comedy. People are obsessed with this, trying to find these stupid digital creatures everywhere. Whatever.
If you make a Pokemon Go movie, there will be some sort of joke about the app that everybody.
I don't want people to get hit by cars, people running out into the streets with their cameras. I mean, it sounds like
it does
chaos.
promote social interaction, so it's like you do have to get up off the couch and walk outside to go catch Pokemon, and maybe run into somebody, maybe you become best friends, maybe they do something creepy to you. It's a risk every time you go outside.
I like that story.
To quote the great Lou Brown. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know what's happening. I'm an old man when it comes to this.
Let the
Pokemon
kids
stuff.
play the game.
Yeah, I don't take. You want to go chase things in the street? Go ahead.
Take a picture.
Hot take from Kristian and Jon Schnepp about the Pokemon
Hey,
Go
Petey
movie.
Peppers, what do you think about this
Just
thing?
go take a picture of the
You
thing
take
already.
the Pokey,
You know
you put it
what?
with the
I
mom.
would've
Yeah,
loved
come
to have
on.
given
Go
you all the
find
forum
something
to talk
already.
about
Put it
this.
on a pizza
But,
pie. Why don't you go
we
eat
are
that
out of time
Pokemon?
here on Collider
Tired
Movie
of you
Talk.
talking about
I want
Pokemon
to thank
this.
everybody behind the cameras, and that's it. I just want to end the show, but I will throw it over to you boys on the panel as well. Jon Schnepp, where can everybody find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jon Schnepp. And at Comic-Con with these fools. We're going to be at Comic-Con next week. It's going to be awesome. We'll be running around doing a bunch of panels and stuff, freaking out, trying to find Pokemon.
Yeah, use your phone to catch a Jon Schnepp. He's big, so
That's
it's hard to
right.
keep him caged. What do you got?
Find me at Tony Ravioli and bring me a cannoli. Hey, whoa, hey. No, at Kristian Harloff, Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you follow me or come and hang out with us, Jedi Council, every Thursday. We do that. But also, Collider Movie Talk. We like to consider this is the Sports Center for movies. So make sure you guys tell your friends about it. Tweet, comment, do all that stuff. Let your friends know that Collider Movie Talk is happening every day, 11 a.m.
Tell all the gang in the neighborhood about Collider Movie Talk.
hey,
It's okay.
Don't just keep it to yourself.
Linguini.
You know,
Hey, Mova,
it's
where
for
can
you
they
and
find
everybody.
you?
What
Oh
hey,
my
oh.
God, throw it to me, huh? You guys can find me on Twitter and on
Maria.
Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And of course, Wendy Lee Zaney over there in the chat room. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me catching EVs last night at Pokestops and at Wendy Lee Zaney.
Oh, Wendy,
I
oh.
didn't understand the first half of that sentence, but congratulations on catching something. Make sure you guys check out AMCtheatres.com. That's where you go for all the latest box office and showtime ticket information. Go to Collider.com right now. Bookmark it because that's where we go for a lot of the stories that we bring to you guys each and every weekday. And of course, subscribe right here on Collider Video to get all of our shows, not just Movie Talk, the Schmodown, Heroes, Jedi Council, all that good stuff. My name is Mark Ellis, and I'll be at the Fort Lauderdale Improv this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, telling jokes. You can get tickets at markellislive.com. Until tomorrow, see you guys then.
Oh.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.